that led you to maybe pursue an opportunity, to avoid a risk, whatever it may have been. What comes to mind when we ask for a finance strategic moment?
Yeah, there's probably more than one, and this one may surprise some, but it occurred on a stage in front of hundreds of people, and it became as so it was a very public moment, but maybe my thought process was private, so hopefully that was not visible to everybody. But I was at a large public company, one of the ones we mentioned, and speaking in front of the top few hundred leaders, and my job was at an offsite to communicate kind of important trends, a little bit of perspective on the investment community, and some aspects that are going on with our business. And I think at some point I realized that I was able to connect a dot between sort of how the investment community viewed us, meaning how we were valued as a company, and something very core to how we operate. For example, something around retention and sort of how we keep our customers and sort of the value proposition, and then the economic retention that we get as part of that. I got a lot of questions and suddenly a lot of engagement, just sort of that I could see in the audience. And what I realized afterwards was it's not because I had a brilliant insight. It was because I realized that my job was a lot about connecting dots. And it wasn't about just doing a great analysis on how we can create value in the business. It's not just about talking to investors and weaving a really good story. It's connecting those dots in a way that the average employee could understand that and translate that to his or her business and to our salespeople and all the rest. And then also for our finance team to understand, it gave more visibility, higher profile in urgency to, something I was talking about. So what I realized is what a platform I had to drive change in an organization at a very specific metric. And even though it probably got nods and maybe some lip service, suddenly became something that was in focus and quite valuable as we created value. And I to this day, I take it as a lesson for how I need to do my job. And so it's not just sort of doing the particulars of any one particular of my job well. If I'm not connecting dots, I'm not doing my job. And I make my finance team more powerful, and I make leaders better at what they do by helping them explain where we're driving value and connecting those all the way through to very tangible things, not sort of esoteric financial terms or consensus estimates, but actually what we can impact. And it comes back to what you asked earlier, which is thinking about those metrics that really drive value. And to me, that ends up being the blueprint for finance and really specifically financial planning and analysis. That's how we affect change and having that insight. Everything else is good, but insufficient if you're not connecting that dot, in my mind.